Hi, and welcome back to Jen and Dan's Natural Healing with Plants, the go-to podcast for holistic health seekers looking to harness the power of nature and healing. I'm Jen. I'm a passionate health educator, whole food plant-based culinary coach, and master herbalist. And I'm here with Dan, an exercise specialist and wonderful master herbalist. Together, we dive into the world of natural healing, bringing you a wealth of knowledge and practical advice. We draw from both traditional wisdom and modern science with herbs and foods to help you achieve optimal health. So today we're going to talk about something that surprises a lot of people, and it is why we don't recommend chicken or fish for true healing. So people hear about fish and fish is healthy. A lot of people come to us, I'm eating so healthy. I eat chicken and broccoli for dinner. And so it's not really in our minds, from what we have learned in our own research and our own classes, the best thing for someone who has inflammation, who has a health issue going on. So I know this is where a lot of people push back. It's lean. I'm making sure that it's clean. And I get used to hearing that. And I used to believe that too. Before I went completely whole food plant-based, I thought that was the right way to eat as well. And chicken and fish have really been marketed as healthy for a really long time. And so let's dig into the science and see if there's something else we can come up with, and why we really want you to remove chicken and fish if you're on a healing journey. So Dan, where should we begin?
Well, we can begin with, I guess, why do you think the message is out there it's so healthy? Well, most of your animal food companies, they have a lot of pull. They have a lot of money for advertising, and they've been doing this for a long time. So it's really advertising. I used to read the bodybuilding magazines, and they've advertised protein, 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 all that, and I bought into it. But that
Okay.
was the old days. The new days, we're not just talking a bunch of fluff here. We're talking about real science.
Right.
So a lot of people think if they take red meat out of the diet and they eat chicken or fish, they're doing better. And they are doing a little bit better, but they're
Mhm.
still not doing good enough, especially if they have some kind of disease like heart disease or diabetes or some type of arthritis. We could go on and on.
Right. Right. Any kind of pain or disease in the body.
Hmm.
Right. It's meat creates inflammation.
Hmm.
Right. Right. And so if we look at the science, and so when we eat meat, it increases the TMAO levels. Let's see if I can say it correctly. Trimethylamine in oxide.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a big one.
it's linked to an increased risk of heart disease, kidney dysfunction, and even stroke. It creates inflammation. So if you're already sick, already have a quote unquote diagnosis, you have pain, inflammation anywhere in your body, this is adding to that inflammation. And so it doesn't make sense for someone who's wanting to heal to add something that has a chemical like that in it.
Yes, I think it's what people need to understand is there's a plant-based doctor I listen to, and he talks about by the time you're over 50, you already have kidney dysfunction.
Right.
And so every time you eat a piece of chicken or fish or steak, this strains the kidneys even more. And so if you're really sick, like, you're saying, if you already had a stroke or a heart attack or you have kidney disease or heart disease, you're
Right.
never going to get better if you don't drop chicken and fish. Even though they tell you it's healthy, it's still damaging you. So,
Right.
oh, there's another big word we come up with today, another piece of the puzzle. Jennifer learned this week, I think, from a doctor she knows. PHIP, short for, oh God, 2 amino, 1 methyl, 6 phenyl limid.
Phenylimidazo,
Okay.
4,5-D, pyridine.
Well, it's a big word,
We may have just
but
butchered it.
it's foreign when you cook meat. It's a known carcinogen. And guess where it shows up in high amounts? Grilled chicken.
Grilled chicken, right. It creates metastatic breast cancer cells, or it makes breast cancer cells metastatic.
Oh,
So for me, as soon as I heard that, I was like, I've family history of breast cancer. And so for me, luckily, I haven't had any chicken since 2016 or 2017, right? And so thank goodness. But I want to make sure that my family members don't eat any chicken either. Luckily, none in my household do. My children don't either. But that's really scary because people think that's, so all I eat is chicken and fish and broccoli, so that's healthy. Well, broccoli, yes, keep the broccoli. Broccoli's not going to create these carcinogens, but toss out the chicken and the fish. Now, I don't know if fish creates the PHIP, but I know no grilled chicken does.
Yeah, there's also a study with chicken. It increases the risk of stomach cancer too. And
Hmm.
so it's
And
just,
eggs. And we're not even talking about eggs, but eggs come from chickens.
yeah.
Are also linked to stomach cancer.
And then, fish, we could go and talk about fish. And now we're in the age of mercury. Okay. Mercury, most of your fish, and tuna's popular, but tuna has a lot of mercury.
Right, right. And more fish are high in plastics, especially
Oh,
microplastics. Yeah, so I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. So my dad and stepmom went on they took a like a cargo ship across the Atlantic Ocean. And they said it was so depressing because it was just swirls of garbage, plastic water bottles, all out in the Atlantic Ocean going across. And so, just like for us, if you leave a plastic water bottle in the car, and when it gets hot and it heats up, those microplastic particles go into your water. So then, if you drink that water, you're drinking all these plastic particles. You run your plastic through the dishwasher, you put it in the microwave, all those little pieces of plastic get into your food. Well, the same thing happens out in the ocean, and then the fish, they just absorb all these microplastics. And so those disrupt the gut and the endocrine system, as well as the mercury. And we've already heard so much about mercury being a neurotoxin.
yeah, this is I feel like it's an emerging thing, all these plastics, and they're talking about the plastics can lead to inflammation. And of course, we know it's the root cause of every current disease. So if you're trying to reverse disease like, autoimmune disease, your blood sugar, or just feel better,
Yeah.
chicken and fish are going to get in your way. And I know it's hard for people to hear right now, some people, but I feel like that we're teaching people who want to get to the bottom. They're sick of being unwell and they're
Sick of
willing
being
to
sick.
try it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And
Oh,
so if
yeah.
you're there, if you're wanting really to reverse, like I reversed how many autoimmune diseases at this point, right? I
Oh,
had
yeah.
one, I had radioactive iodine, I ended up with three, and then I got rid of those, and then I got really sick again, and I ended up with new ones. And so I'm free and clear of all of my autoimmune diseases at the moment, but only because I made sure that I removed all those barriers to healing. If you really, really want to heal and recover, you have to remove anything that's going to be creating inflammation in the body. And so there are the obvious things like the plastics, like fried foods and stuff like that. But then we have to go even a little bit deeper. And so if you really, really want true healing, you've got to remove the animal products that do create those inflammatory markers when they are cooked. And so then we can get in. What about if I have like sushi with the raw fish? Well, there's still going to be plastics in there. It's not going to create those heated things. So maybe that would be a little bit on the safer side than giving it all up. Now, for me, I wouldn't give it at all because I want to be as clean as I can.
Yeah, well, if your body's already sick and overburdened, you want to get rid of anything that's going to cause more stress. I mean, some of you may be listening today and you're trying to heal yourself and you think you've tried everything, but you probably haven't. I mean, even I've even had some of my mentors that were having trouble and they think they're doing everything right, but they're not,
And we can
because
see it. Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yes. And so maybe it is, maybe it's about finding a coach or someone who knows about this to help you. Both of us are coaches and we are more than happy to help you. You can comment and let us know if you would like help with yours. But it's removing any of those barriers to healing. It's removing anything that creates inflammation, but it's also adding in. So we need to add in as many antioxidant rich foods as we can. That's why pretty much every episode, if not every episode, I'm saying eat the rainbow. You have to eat all the colors ideally at every meal. If you can't even get there, then at least during the day. Have I had fruits and vegetables that are red, orange, yellow, green, and purple? And even those browns, mushrooms are fabulous. And so looking for those, all the different colors at least every day, and then work up to every meal if you really, really want healing. And we want them to be blood sugar friendly. So we don't want you to be eating foods, especially processed foods and foods. So people don't realize that when you eat something made with a flour, it could be wheat flour. It could be gluten-free flour. It could be rice flour. They're going to create inflammation. They're going to raise your blood sugar. Just get rid of all of them. Don't just go gluten-free and start eating gluten-free muffins. Guess what? That's going to create inflammation. That's going to raise your blood sugar. It's really going back to eating real whole foods. Foods, shop the produce section. My grocery list is all produce section, some canned beans, because I do get lazy in cooking the beans, and frozen vegetables. That's my shopping list. And so that's what we
Yeah.
need. Stop buying things in boxes and bags, looking for all the different rainbows. And it sounds hard, but that's what I teach. I teach people how to make it easy. I teach you how to do it. It's not that hard. And once you start playing with it, it actually gets fun. You start getting really creative in the kitchen. So I'm going off on a tangent because that doesn't have anything to do with chicken. But if you're trying to heal, it's all about eating as many rainbow foods as you can that are blood sugar friendly, that are going to help with gut healing and healing your overall body. You have to have those nutrients that are healing for the body. And the truth of the matter is, chicken and fish, they're not adding in all of those vitamins and minerals that you can get from dark leafy greens and rainbow fruits and vegetables.
Yes, and there's no, when you eat plants, the plants don't have TMAO, they don't have mercury or PHIP in lentils, leafy greens, chia seeds. We could go on and on, broccoli, fruit, but also there's another factor we talk about a lot is plants help you build a better microbiome, and animal foods. They've done studies on people who eat a diet that are high in animal foods, and their good to bad bacteria is not. It's a bad combination there. So they have more bad bacteria than good because they have
Right.
nothing to feed it.
Right. And if you're not careful, they even have hormones and antibiotics that will kill your microbiome.
Yep.
Yeah, they create inflammation in the gut, which is going to throw off the balance of your good bugs. I use that word like loosely, but the beneficial microbes in your gut. And so, what's so important is feeding the ones that are beneficial, the ones that are going to create the vitamins and minerals that's what they create. They create hormones and things like that. We want to make sure we're feeding those appropriately. And the only way you feed them is with the right fibers. And guess what? There's no fiber in your chicken. There's no fiber in your fish. And so we need vitamins and minerals and fibers that only come in fruits and vegetables, legumes, nuts and seeds, in our plant foods.
Yeah. So if you think I've already said it, but if you think we tried everything and you're still sick, you haven't let go of everything that's hurting you. I know a lot of you think because it's marketing. Chicken's good for me, fish is good. If you're really sick, this is in your way too. If you ditch the dairy, the gluten, and you're still sick, it might be time to let go of the rest of the animal foods because we were taught by really successful healers. And when you were sick, like really sick, you had to get rid of all the animal foods
Right.
until you get better. Now, if I'm not saying you have to do this the rest of your life, me and Jennifer eat like this all the time because we don't want to get sick again.
Exactly. Exactly. And we'll have we'll have clients who are stuck, right? I've tried all the different things. I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried that. And I only eat fish occasionally. I'm eating clean fish, I'm eating salmon. Well, there's still mercury, there's still microplastics, and those disrupt the endocrine system. They're endocrine disruptors. They affect the thyroid, they affect all your thyroid glands. And that one piece of fish a week can actually be creating those symptoms that won't go away. And so even though you're saying, but it's only once a week, that might be the one thing that's keeping you from healing the way you need to heal.
Yeah, and is it worth it having a piece of fish once a week? I mean, it's not. And
Right,
unfortunately, they're finding microplastics at the North Pole. I was reading now, so the whole
right,
world's polluted. It's sad, but
right,
that's the
right.
reality. We have to deal with it.
Right. And they're still so high in mercury and the plastics, and those create inflammation. They clog up your detox pathways, clogs up your liver, so then your hormones aren't circulating correctly and being removed out of the body, which can create estrogen dominance, which is something that we're afraid of, right? Hormone imbalances disrupt the gut. And so the beautiful thing is whole food, whole food, plant-based foods. I hate the word diet, but eating just real whole foods is going to remove those things. Now, sometimes somebody will say, yeah, but there's heavy metals in rice or heavy metals in, I've read heavy metals are in blah, blah, blah. We're not telling you to go eat 20 pounds of one particular type of kale. We want you to eat. Did I say 30 fruits and vegetables a day?
No, not yet.
Hmm.
I didn't hear it though because when you went off, it was muted. So
Oh, well, so I'm sorry for all of you watching on YouTube. So what I was saying was it's recommended to eat 30 fruits and vegetables a week. And so when you're making your grocery list, if you only go to the grocery list once a week, then make sure you have 30 different things on your in the produce section or at the freezer section. And so if you have lemons, limes, and oranges, that's already three. Maybe I want a salad mix, so I have a nice raw salad with different kinds of lettuces. Well, a salad mix may have three different types of lettuce. And so there we're already at six. And then maybe we like broccoli. Maybe we like kale. We start adding those. And then squash and onions and three different kinds of peppers. Buy the mini peppers. Each one counts as different. Yellow, red. They all have different chemicals in them. So even though they're all mini peppers, they all count as different. So anyway, my whole goal was to make sure that you know to increase the fruits and vegetables if you want true healing.
yes, that is wise advice, and it works.
Yes, and it's nice and clean. It's not going to be creating the inflammation. So if you're someone who has trouble handling raw foods and steam them or cook them, if you say, but that, I can't eat that, you just maybe slowly increase it. If you're not used to eating lots and lots of plants, then slowly start adding more and more in. Crowd out the foods that you need to get rid of. Start slow. Unless you are really, really sick. If you really need some quick healing, I'm sorry, but you've got to make a big change.
Yes, and don't forget your water. Always, people forget.
Yes, staying well hydrated.
Hmm.
Yes, that is the biggest one there, right? Yes. So thank you. Yes. So if you agreed with something we said today, let us know. If you disagree, we want to know as well. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, share it with someone else that you know who could really learn from this. And if you would like to work with either one of us, you can find me at holisticgen.com. That's with the WHOLISTICGEN.com, holisticgen.com, or you can find Dan at danthenaturalman.com. So make sure you leave a review too, and we'd love to hear from you. And we want to help people see the truth about real healing and real food and how to really use plants to help you in your healing journey.